Hi there, thanks for checking out another one of our videos. This is the first time you've ever seen one of our videos. We appreciate you finding us. What we are, we're just a repair outlet place that works on fence chargers for multitude of brands, old style from 50 years ago, new ones today. Work on all brands, but all of our information is down in the description area of the website or the YouTube channel. So if you click on the little drop down arrow, you can find out our links to our website. But here's all of our information where you can get a hold of us by. So we got this unit in a little while back, and we were waiting on parts for it. And I was like, I haven't made a video on a 50 miles Zareba in a while. Well, this one is a 2018 model. If you look at the little, skip the EC part, but the 18 right there is the year it was built. So this is a 2018 model. I don't know if that 08 next to it is the week or the day of that year or what that is, but it's earlier part, first quarter, I would guess, 2018 is when it was manufactured. So then it gets sent out to the stores. It sits on the shelf for a week or a month or 9 months. You just never know how long it sits. So this thing isn't that old, So, and the transformer on this thing already went bad. So it comes on and clicks. It just has no output. And like I said, we've already gone through it and figured it, what was wrong with it. We were just waiting on the part, and now that the part's here, now we can fix it for the customer and get them going. So we're just going to show the inside of it and how to do this. This is a newer version, of course. The older ones, the boards and capacitor and transformer were all different. The boards were like a tan color, beige color. And the capacitor, I think, was like bolted to the case right here. This little notch had a little bolt there holding it in, a little nut. And the transformer was a totally different design. You can, if you know what you're doing, you can install a newer style board into, say you had the old style board in there with the capacitor in a different location on the back case. You can take that board out if it's bad, install one of these, and you just have to, I think the capacitor might be able to stay in the same spot, or it needs to be located in a different spot in the case to make it work, because it hits things on the board because the board's a different shape and stuff. And same with the transformers. If the transformer is bad and one of the old style has like a circuit board coming off of it on both sides of the transformer, that's the old style. And you can take one of these transformers and put it into that hook up to the old boards. They will work. The only thing that you have to do, and I can't do it to this one because I don't have a way to show you, but basically the capacitor will be mounted up inside here, but you're going to undo it, and it's going to sit down. I don't remember now. But it's going to sit in a different location because the capacitor and things will hit stuff. So we're going to move that capacitor, that transformer out of the way. We're going to take a new transformer. So yeah, that's the sad thing about Zareba, they are cheaper to buy, but their quality is cheaper as well. And you see this thing's year and a half, 2 years old or whatever it is, and transformer's already bad in the thing, so you kind of get what you pay for with this stuff. So now we're going to, before we slide this transformer back into this little slot right here, we're going to plug these wires back in. They don't really have to go in a certain spot because they have a black and red wire, but there's no actual polarity to these transformers. They just do that for helping people out to, I guess, plug wires in to keep things orientated for them, I guess, but they don't actually have a polarity. Same as the output. There's no polarity to the output as well, but they do color code them for, on the output, for black is your ground, red is your hot, but there's actually, you can reverse it and it'd be just the same. Alright, so we're going to slide this board back into place. These little notches here. I'm going to plug this capacitor back in. I had unplugged it originally way back whenever we first worked on this to test it, make sure it was good, and the capacitor was fine. So now we're going to slide this back there, and then you got your wire left and right here, and this has these little female spades connectors on there, and you're going to come on there. So things should be good. I mean, that's what we wrote down was wrong with those bad transformers. So we're gonna plug it in. 110, 120 volt units. I'm gonna power it on. Not a very loud unit because the transformers are a sealed unit, so it muffles the sound on them. See a little red light down there flashing. And we'll take our analog fence tester here. We're going to test, it doesn't matter, any test out here or test inside here, so I'm just going to clip this on. Little over 6,000 volts coming out of it. It's about where it's supposed to. I mean, this is, I think, a 2 joule unit, so it's not a very big unit power-wise. It says it's 2 joule output. I'll check it here in a second. I'll flip it over. I'm going to put the screws in it since it's done. There's 4 screws holding it in here. Yeah, 2 output joules. I mean, they're $150, or give or take. And Blitzer and Red Snapper. There's some other 50-mile type units out there of different of the same company but different colored case, or different sticker on the front, but they're all the same. One thing I want to do, I want to see if this thing does put out 2 joules. We've got a meter here that will test joules. I'm gonna plug it in. I'm gonna hook up. I gotta get my load. The tester we use for checking joules, we had to buy specialty online. I mean, for an everyday Joe who's just using these things for fencing off stuff and keeping cattle in or keeping things out, the joule thing doesn't really, you don't really care about that. You just want it to work. But I don't really care if what the joules is of it. I just want to make sure, I have to know if the company's actually telling the truth. So in order for us to see what kind of output joules actually put in, we got to put a load on it. We got a 150 ohm load. This meter recommends 200 ohms. I don't have a 200 ohm, but 150 ohms is pretty heavy too, so it should be pretty darn close. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on, switch it to J for joules, which is right here. This tester is kind of a cheap LCD on it, but we're going to put it across here. Oh, hold on, I got the meter backwards. Maybe that makes a difference. Turn it off and try this again. I must have too heavy of a load on it. I would have thought 150 ohms load is pretty heavy, because the closer you get to 0 ohms, the worse the short is. And most brands do a standard load of a 500 ohm load, so 150 is a pretty heavy load. But let's see it kind of reading voltage wise. This will read now. Joules won't be any different, I don't think. Say 6.6 kV. 6.7. Joules probably won't show up anything. Oh, there it is. 1 point. So I had too heavy of a load on it. Right now it's putting out 1.38. If I had like a maybe a 300 ohm or something like that, this would probably be up in that 2 range. But I had a 150 ohm load, which is pretty hard on a small Joule unit. So it works fine. You know, that's why, you know, if I had, like, say this is a 5 Joule unit, 6 Joule unit, 150 ohm would still stress it out, but wouldn't drag it down as hard, and the joules would be a little bit better reading. But, you know, it's a 2 Joule unit. I mean, it's not heavy duty. This 50-mile range is kind of a marketing thing. It means it's 50 miles of single strand of clean fence with a perfect ground system, you know, the perfect fence setup and good insulators and like good wire, like high tensile 12.5 gauge wire, you know, something that will carry the load really well. That's where that mileage rating all comes from. So it's not like it's you know, poly rope or multi-strand or a bunch of grass on the fence. All that stuff cuts down on mileage rating of a unit. So I never really look at that mileage rating stuff. I was like, oh, I only got a 1/4 mile of fence. Man, this thing ought to run circles around this thing. Yeah, but it's only 2 joules. So it's not like it's a hard hitting unit. I mean, it's going to hit you hard enough to keep an animal in place for what it's designed to do, but it's not a very powerful unit comparable to other models that this company makes or other brands that make bigger units as well. But now that's all you really got about this little thing. We got it going for the customer. He's happy, or will be happy when he gets it back and hook it up and use it. But anyways, you got one of these things, send it in to us. Be happy to work on it. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and we've got about 450 something videos on YouTube. So if you do a search on YouTube, there's going to be a multitude of videos of probably a one model that you've got. So I think we've got 1 or 2 of the videos about this model out there, probably from a year or 2 ago. So, but we thought we'd make a new one because we haven't made one on this model in quite some time. So, but until next time, until we do another video of how to work on one or how one works, we'll see you guys later on.